Seve's reaction after.
It's going to exceed our expectations. Ian Poulter.
The Ryder Cup is golf's biggest pressure cooker. Every 2 years, friendships get pushed aside, reputations are made or shattered, and sportsmanship sometimes takes a back seat to sheer intensity. Over the decades, the Cup has delivered some of golf's wildest, most controversial moments, scenes so heated, they're still talked about years later. Let's jump into the 10 most controversial moments in Ryder Cup history. And some of these? They're not just shocking. They completely rewrote the rulebook for what fans expect from golf's fiercest rivalry. 1. Reed vs. Rory, the Gladiator Duel, 2016. Hazeltine, 2016, Sunday singles. Everything was on the line. Team USA was trailing, 9.5 to 6.5 after a rough Saturday, and they needed a spark. That spark? It came from Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy in the 8th match. Reed came out swinging, birdied the first hole, turned to the crowd, arms raised like he was conducting a symphony of 40,000 fans. But Rory? Not one to back down. He responded with a birdie of his own on the second. That back and forth continued, turning the match into pure golf theater. Then came the moment that sent the golf world into meltdown. The 6th hole. Reed drained a massive putt, then turned to the European gallery, finger to his lips. A bold, ice-cold shush that made jaws drop. Rory, visibly rattled but not out, returned the favor later with a fist-pumping celebration of his own, cupping his ears at the American crowd after sinking a bomb. Every hole became a battleground of looks, gestures, and roars. Reed would go up, Rory would claw back. It wasn't just golf, it was theater. When Reed finally closed out the match one-up, fans didn't just cheer. They knew they'd witnessed what might be the greatest Ryder Cup singles match of all time. And for Team USA, they had a new lightning rod. 2. The Impossible Burden. Philip Walton's Moment of Truth, 1995. September 24th, 1995. Oak Hill. Europe needed 7.5 points to pull off what seemed like an impossible win on American soil. And somehow, the fate of the Cup rested not on a legend like Seve or Faldo, but on a quiet Irish rookie ranked 108th in the world. Philip Walton was up against Jay Haas in the final singles match. He was cruising, 3 up with 3 holes to play. Then the nerves kicked in. Haas holed a miracle bunker shot on 16. Walton missed a short putt on 17. Suddenly, everything hinged on the 18th. As Walton lined up his 2-footer, his caddy was chain-smoking behind him, literally shaking. The math was simple. Walton just needed a bogey. But the pressure? Anything but simple. Before the final putt, Walton cut off his caddy's reed and said, "Brian, I've got 2 putts for it. I think I'll take them." He sank it. Europe had pulled off a 1-point win. Bernard Gallacher ran onto the green and hugged Walton. "You've just won the Ryder Cup," he yelled. Walton's stunned reply, "Have I?" That's the thing about golf. Sometimes it's the quietest guy on the course who makes the loudest impact. 3. The Birdie Barrage, Garcia vs. Mickelson, 2016. While Reed and Rory were duking it out in one of the loudest matches in Ryder Cup history, just a few holes down the course, something equally incredible was unfolding. Without the drama, but with all the fireworks. Sergio Garcia and Phil Mickelson were playing like men possessed. Shot for shot, birdie for birdie. By the time the dust settled, they'd combined for 19 birdies and 0 bogeys. Garcia shot an 8 under 64. Mickelson, a 10 under 62. That's not match play golf. That's a clinic. It wasn't a heated match full of shouting or stare downs. It was heated because neither man would give an inch. It felt like watching 2 guys who had waited their entire lives for this moment. Every hole had crowds flocking away from other groups just to catch the magic. The match ended halved, but the impact? Lasting. Many still call it the greatest golf performance in Ryder Cup history. Proof that sometimes the drama is in the scoreboard. 4. The Miracle at Medina, Poulter's 5-birdie blitz, 2012. Team Europe was 4 points down heading into Sunday singles at Medina in 2012. No European squad had ever come back from that kind of deficit, especially not on American soil. But Ian Poulter? He wasn't having it. Saturday 4 balls. Poulter, paired with Rory McIlroy, was 2 down with 5 to play against Duffner and Zach Johnson. Then it happened. Poulter birdied 14. The crowd barely noticed. Just noise control, they figured. But then he birdied 15, then 16, then 17, and finally 18. 5 straight birdies, 5 consecutive roars. Poulter's celebration after that 5th was so loud, it echoed across fairways. Europe suddenly wasn't dead. They were just getting started. On Sunday, belief returned. Justin Rose, Luke Donald, Paul Lawrie, Martin Kamer, they all stepped up. But it was Poulter who lit the fuse. Europe completed the miracle comeback, 14.5 to 13.5. And Ian Poulter? He walked off as a Ryder Cup legend. 5. Broken partnership. Reed vs. Spieth fallout, 2018. In 2018, Paris looked like it would be another step forward for Team USA. Patrick Reed and Jordan Spieth had been dominant, 4-1-2 together in previous cups. But Captain Jim Furyk made a decision that shocked everyone. He split them up. Spieth got paired with Justin Thomas and played well. Reed? He got Tiger Woods, who was still shaking off rust from years of injuries and off-course issues. The pairing flopped. Reed lost both his matches. He looked frustrated, but it didn't end there. After the crushing defeat, Reed dropped a bomb in the New York Times. He blamed Spieth. He blamed Furyk. He called out the team dynamics in brutal detail, saying Spieth didn't want to play with him, and the captain's decision had backfired. It was rare, almost unheard of, airing dirty laundry in public like that. The chemistry issues weren't just rumors, they were confirmed by one of the team's own stars. And just like that, Team USA's future suddenly felt more uncertain than ever. 6. The Belfry confrontation. Faldo refuses the concede, 1993. 1993, the Belfry, final singles match. Nick Faldo versus Paul Azinger. The two had a rivalry stretching back 6 years, and now? They were face-to-face with nothing on the line for the cup. The US had already clinched, but everything on the line for pride. Faldo made par. Azinger had a 6-foot putt to have the match. Most would have conceded. A gentlemanly nod and handshake. But Faldo. He folded his arms and just stared. Azinger didn't flinch. He stepped up and buried the putt dead center. Later, while watching tape of that match during his recovery from cancer, Azinger smirked. "Look at that," he said. "I had cancer and he still couldn't beat me." Sometimes, it's not about the cup. It's about the message. That cold refusal to concede sparked whispers across both teams. Even with the cup already secured, Faldo made it personal. The tension between them wasn't hidden. It had been simmering since Muirfield in '87, where Faldo edged Azinger by a single stroke to win his first Open. The loss left scars. And at the Belfry, Faldo saw a chance to twist the knife. Azinger knew it too. As he stood over that final putt, there was no fanfare, just quiet resolve. That stare down on 18 said more than any press conference ever could. Players from both squads noticed the chill. Some praised Faldo's competitive fire. Others? Not so much. Azinger later said it was one of the coldest moments he'd experienced in match play. Years down the line, the rivalry still had legs. In interviews, neither man fully let go of that moment. It's rare to see a match with no cup implications turn into a defining Ryder Cup memory. But this one did. Because pride, when mixed with history, can sometimes outshine the trophy itself. 7. Mickelson torches Watson, public fallout, 2014. Glen Eagles, 2014. Team USA got steamrolled, 16.5 to 11.5. Tom Watson had been brought back to captain the team, hoping to recreate his 1993 magic. But behind the scenes, the atmosphere was toxic. Watson had reportedly mocked a gift the players gave him. In meetings, he blamed them for everything. When he benched Phil Mickelson for an entire session, the tension hit a boiling point. Then came the press conference. A reporter asked what had worked in the past that hadn't worked now. And Phil lit the fuse. He began methodically breaking down why Paul Azinger's 2008 strategy had worked and why Watson's approach had failed. "Nobody here was in any decision," Mickelson said, just 3 feet from his captain. The fallout? Immediate. The US created a Ryder Cup task force. Watson's reputation took a hit, but that brutal moment led to a full retooling of the US strategy, and arguably, their win at Hazeltine in 2016. 8. The Hatgate Meltdown, Rory vs. LaCava, 2023. Marco Simone, Rome, Saturday 4 balls. Patrick Cantlay had been mocked all day by European fans waving hats, teasing rumors that he wasn't wearing team headgear as a protest for not getting paid. Cantlay drained a birdie on 18. His caddy, Joe LaCava, waved a hat in celebration, mocking the mockers. But LaCava kept celebrating, even while Rory McIlroy was lining up his own crucial putt. Rory was furious. He walked toward LaCava, pointing and shouting. Other players stepped in, but the real explosion came after, in the parking lot. Rory, still seething, had to be physically restrained as he went after LaCava again. The video went viral. The images were everywhere. And for Team Europe, that fire ended up fueling them to close out the victory the next day. 9. War on the Shore, The Rules Meltdown, 1991. Kiowa Island, 1991. American patriotism was red hot. US players arrived wearing camo caps. The Ryder Cup had turned into something far more intense, the war on the shore. The drama started early. Seve Ballesteros and Jose Maria Olazabal noticed something strange. The Americans were switching golf balls during foursomes, a violation of the one-ball rule. Azinger denied it, later admitted it. No penalty could be enforced, but the damage was done. The gamesmanship spiraled. Seve developed a cough during American swings. Raymond Floyd called him out mid-round. The crowd grew increasingly hostile. The final match came down to Bernhard Langer's 6-foot putt on 18. He missed. The US won 14.5 to 13.5, but nobody was talking about golf anymore. They were talking about a battle. 10. Brookline Breakdown, The Line Crossed, 1999. September 1999. The country club, Brookline. Europe had a 10-6 lead going into Sunday. Then it all went off the rails. From the opening tee shots, fans heckled European players mercilessly. Colin Montgomery bore the brunt, hearing personal insults, attacks on his family, even body shaming. It was brutal, but nothing compared to what happened on the 17th green. Justin Leonard drained a 45-foot birdie bomb, and before Jose Maria Olazabal could even putt, the American team stormed the green. Players, wives, caddies, everyone. They trampled across his putting line, celebrating like the match was over. Olazabal still had a 22-footer to have the hole. He missed. The US completed the comeback. But for many in Europe, Brookline remains the lowest point in Ryder Cup sportsmanship. What made it worse was how long the celebration went on. It wasn't a few seconds. It was a full-blown party, with hugs, screams, even high fives from officials. The European team stood by in disbelief. Sam Torrance, one of Europe's vice-captains, looked like he'd seen a ghost. Even Jack Nicklaus later said the behavior was unfortunate. The respect that had always existed between the two teams suddenly felt fractured. Montgomery, already under siege from the crowd all week, was visibly shaken. His father had been targeted by hecklers in the gallery. It wasn't just passionate fandom, it was personal. Mark James, Europe's captain, admitted after the tournament that it was one of the most painful days of his career. There were even reports of players refusing to shake hands in the clubhouse. What should have been one of golf's greatest comebacks ended with bitterness. The Ryder Cup had officially crossed into a new era, one where intensity sometimes blurred the line between competitive fire and pure chaos. And from that day forward, every Ryder Cup has carried the weight of Brookline's legacy. The Ryder Cup brings out the best, and sometimes the absolute worst, in the world's greatest golfers. Over the years, it's delivered iconic shots, historic comebacks, and unforgettable meltdowns. But at its core, it's always been more than golf. It's national pride, it's rivalry, it's emotion, unfiltered and raw. And that's why, even decades later, these controversial moments still echo through Ryder Cup history. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more legendary golf stories, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next wild moment in sports history. Catch you in the next one.